As secrets unravel, the family's past betrayal threatens to tear everything apart. A young girl, once abandoned, faces a choice that could change her life forever. Can she forgive those who hurt her most? With emotions running high and trust on the line, an unexpected twist forces everyone to confront their darkest regrets. In the small, lively town of Nabari, a couple named Lena and Joshua lived a quiet life. Lena was a dedicated teacher at the school village, and Joshua was a skilled craftsman known for creating beautiful wooden furniture. They had been married for 6 years, yet their home remained silent without the laughter of children. This silence gnawed at Lena's heart, especially as whispers and side glances from neighbors grew louder. The pressure was immense, and the weight of unspoken disappointment hung heavy in the air. One day, Lena came home with a bright idea. What if we adopt a child? She asked Joshua. He hesitated, unsure, but seeing the hope in Lena's eyes, he agreed. A month later, they welcomed Amma, a bubbly 7-year-old girl with the brightest smile. Amma, despite being bound to a wheelchair, had a spirit so vibrant that she seemed to light up the darkest corners of their home. For a while, their lives blossomed with joy. Amma's laughter echoed through the house, and Lena and Joshua felt complete for the first time in years. But life, as it often does, shifted unexpectedly. One evening, Lena discovered she was pregnant. Overjoyed, she and Joshua celebrated, unaware of how this news would alter their family dynamics. Months later, Lena gave birth to twin boys. The house was soon filled with cries, pulls, and chaos. Amma tried her best to help, folding baby clothes with her tiny hands and singing lullabies. But slowly, she began to feel invisible. Joshua, once her attentive father, spent more time building cribs and less time reading her bedtime stories. Lena, overwhelmed with sleepless nights, barely noticed Anna's attempts to engage her. The love that once seemed endless now felt rationed, and Amma, despite her sunny disposition, began to wilt. One rainy afternoon, Lena hurried out with the twins for their vaccinations, leaving Amma behind. Her personal aide had taken a leave, and the family, distracted by their new responsibilities, forgot to arrange care for her. Hours passed, and the storm grew louder. Amma, frightened and alone, tried to navigate to the kitchen, but the slippery floors caused her wheelchair to tip. She fell, unable to call for help, and lay there until a neighbor noticed the open front door and rushed to her aid. The adoption agency was alerted, and after a swift investigation, Amma was removed from Lena and Joshua's care. It was a decision that shattered their world. They pleaded, promising to do better, but their neglect had left scars too deep to ignore. Amma, heartbroken and confused, was placed with another family, a kind couple who cherished her and ensured her days were filled with love and care. Back in Nabari, Lena and Joshua struggled with guilt and sorrow. Their twins, once their source of joy, fell gravely ill one night. Despite rushing them to the hospital, neither survived. The couple was left with a hollow house and an unbearable sense of loss. They began to see the truth. Hammer had been their miracle child all along. Hammer, meanwhile, thrived in her new home. She started painting her colorful artwork reflecting her healing heart. Her laughter returned, brighter than ever, as she found herself surrounded by love. Yet, deep down, she missed the family she once called her own, even as she built new memories. Lena and Joshua, broken and reflective, decided to reach out to Amma. They found out from the adoption agency after pleading with them, the new couple who adopted her. They hoped for forgiveness, though they knew they didn't deserve it. But when they arrived at her new home, they froze at the gate, unsure if they could face the consequences of their actions. Amma was inside, unaware of the storm brewing outside. The rain poured relentlessly, casting a gloomy veil over the streets. Lena and Joshua stood at the gates, their breaths shallow, their feet rooted to the ground. Through the window, they could see Amma laughing as she painted at the dining table, her new family seated around her, marveling at her work. The warmth and joy inside the house was palpable, a stark contrast to the cold, unforgiving storm outside. Joshua clenched the gate tightly, the metal biting into his palm. "We can't just stand here," he said, his voice trembling. "We have to see her, Lena. We have to tell her we are sorry." Lena shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "What if she doesn't want to see us? What if we only hurt her more by being here?" Her voice broke and she buried her face in her hands. Before they could decide, the door to the house opened and Emma's new father, Mr. Tunde, stepped out to retrieve something from the porch. He froze when he saw them, his eyes narrowing, recognizing them immediately because he was warned by the adoption agency. And their pictures were shown to him so that they could be ready in case of a visit. He walked towards the gate, his posture protective, his expression unreadable. "Why are you here?" Tunde's voice was calm but firm, a tone that sent a shiver down Joshua's spine. We we just want to see Amma," Joshua stammered. "Please, just for a moment, we need to apologize." Tunde's gaze hardened. "Apologies don't undo what you did. She's happy now, and I won't let anyone disrupt that." Inside the house, Amma turned toward the window. Her bright eyes caught a glimpse of Lena and Joshua standing in the rain. Her smile faded, replaced by confusion and something else. Fear. She quickly wheeled herself toward the door, her heart pounding. They turned to stop her, but Amma had already opened the door. She stared at Lena and Joshua, the rain soaking her hair as she gripped the doorway for support. "Why are you here?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Lena took a hesitant step forward. "Amma, we we just wanted to say we are sorry for everything. We were wrong, and we know we don't deserve your forgiveness, but—" "You left me," Amma interrupted, her voice trembling. "You promised you'd always take care of me, but you didn't. You forgot about me." Her words pierced through the silence, sharper than any blade. Joshua fell to his knees, unable to contain the sobs that racked his body. "We failed you, Amma. We know that, and we've paid the price. But please, please let us explain." Amma hesitated, glancing back at Tunde, who gave her a reassuring nod. She wheeled herself forward, stopping just short of the gate. "Explain, then," she said, her voice stronger now, though her eyes glistened with unshed tears. Lena and Joshua exchanged a glance. After you left, Lena began, her voice quavering. Our twins, they didn't make it. We thought we had everything when they were born, but we lost everything instead. And and they were gone. And when they were gone, we realized we realized you were the miracle we've been searching for all along. Emma's hands clenched the armrests of her wheelchair. You only realized that after you lost them. Was I not enough before? Nina's knees buckled and she knelt in the mud, her hands clasped in desperation. You were more than enough, Mama. We were blind. We let our joy blind us to your pain, and it's the greatest regret of our lives. Amma looked at them for a long moment, her face a storm of emotions. Behind her, Tunde stepped closer, ready to intervene if needed. Just as Amma opened her mouth to respond, a loud crash echoed from the inside of the house. Amma's mother screamed and Tunde spun around, rushing toward the door. Amma wheeled herself in quickly, her heart racing. Lena and Joshua hesitated before following, their fear mounting. Inside, the living room was in chaos. The window had shattered and the curtains were on fire. Amma's younger foster brother was trapped under a falling bookshelf, crying out in pain. Tunde grabbed a fire extinguisher, battling the flames, while Lena and Joshua rushed to lift the bookshelf off the boy. The house filled with smoke, and panic gripped everyone. Ahmad struggled to move her wheelchair through the thick haze, coughing as she called out for her family. Lena spotted her and ran over, scooping her up in her arms despite the danger. Let me go! Amma protested, but Lena held on tightly. I won't lose you again, Lena cried, carrying Amma out into the rain. Outside, they collapsed onto the wet grass, coughing and gasping for air. Joshua and Tunde emerged moments later, carrying the rest of the family. The fire department arrived shortly after, and the flames were extinguished, but the house was severely damaged. As the rain continued to fall, Amma sat in Lena's arms, shaking with fear and exhaustion. She looked up at her former parents, their faces pale and tears streaked. For the first time, she saw not just guilt, but genuine love and remorse. I don't know if I can forgive you, Amma said softly, her voice barely audible over the rain. But I don't want to hate you either. Lena clung to her, sobbing, that's enough, Amma. That's more than we deserve. Tunde watched from a distance, his expression unreadable. He knew this wasn't the end of the story, not by a long shot, but for now there was a fragile truce, born of rain and fire, holding together the fractured pieces of their hearts.